You may believe that all is quiet over in Geneva, Switzerland, where Cern is located, that Cern has not really been in the news lately, they have not been that active, but unfortunately, that is the farthest away from the truth. As Cern themselves has stated, this is their most productive summer ever. Cern on their own website released an article on June 12, 2024, how the Large Hadron Collider, or the Luminosity production, is expected to resume on June 17th for a period of 9 weeks of uninterrupted production until the next MD session, which is scheduled to start on August 19th. So the Large Hadron Collider, or the particle accelerator, will run for a full 9 weeks straight, making this the longest run of the Large Hadron Collider. This 9-week run of an uninterrupted particle accelerator happens to be longer than when CERN ran the Large Hadron Collider back during the solar eclipse between March and April. Matter of fact, when they ran the Large Hadron Collider back between March and April, it went through phases. This time, the Large Hadron Collider will be uninterrupted. It will be running constantly. Today is August 19th. It is the last day of the Large Hadron Collider's production, which began in June. During the solar eclipse, CERN was specifically looking for dark matter. So during this most recent production, what was CERN looking for? Well, there are a couple interesting articles these past couple weeks when it relates to CERN. Before I do get into those articles, I was watching a channel, I forgot which channel I was watching, but they came up with a really good theory. They said, what if CERN is not opening up black holes? There was a time we were really worried that CERN was going to open up a giant black hole and it was going to engulf the Earth. And they said, no, it's not a big deal. These black holes, they're very small and they go away in a matter of seconds. What they are actually trying to do is open up wormholes, basically shortcuts across the universe or shortcuts across different dimensions. Supposedly, when it comes to the public, wormholes have not been proven to exist, but who knows what's really going on at CERN, and this could also explain the portals. Make no mistake about it, CERN is indeed interested in exploring other dimensions. They're not spending all this money and time and resources just to smash particles together. No, they are opening up other dimensions and things are indeed crossing over. They have told us so. They have told us that these specters or these phantoms or ghosts are crossing over to the third dimension from higher realms. On CERN's own website, they state, string theory intriguingly suggests that 6, get the numerology, 6 more dimensions exist, but are somehow hidden from our senses. They could be all around us, but curled up to be so tiny that we have never realized their existence. String theory plays heavy in the concept of wormholes. Reading from this article here, it states, in some cases, wormholes may allow for time travel. The concept of wormholes originated from Einstein's theory of general relativity, which was proposed before string theory. Traditional wormholes connect different regions within the same universe, but no one knows for sure if they exist. Not just that, it also is stated that wormholes are theoretical objects that could connect different regions of space, including different universes. So if you're someone that doesn't believe that space is real, because there are those that do believe space is not real, that does not take away the concept of wormholes, because wormholes can indeed connect to different alternate universes or, like I said, to different dimensions. I know I'll have some people that will say, minutes of horror, space is not real, so wormholes, black holes, and so forth are not real. But you have to understand, CERN is not creating these objects in space. They are creating them inside of CERN. They are creating them in a lab. So if CERN is not creating these wormholes or these portals inside of their labs, then how are these fourth dimensional entities, or in their own words, ghosts, crossing over here? Well, we do indeed have some proof that they are working or have worked on the concept of a wormhole. They actually have a document, a blueprint on their own website titled Knitting Wormholes by Entanglement in Supergravity. I will go ahead and leave the link below in the comment section. I'll go ahead and pin it because it's absolutely fascinating. This is coming from CERN's own website. They are breaking down and showing a blueprint of the creation of a wormhole, or basically a portal. The geometry they use is called a Schwarzschild, which also plays heavy into the concept of string theory, which once again plays a role into wormholes. Now, on a side note, here's what I find rather interesting. And again, they always show us what they do in media. That media could be in the form of music videos, TV shows, movies, or even video games. Now, back when I was covering Beauvais Island and the anomaly, this anomaly they said was a glitch on Ventusky, even though later we had proven that this quote-unquote glitch had appeared on other weather radars and other radar systems. We also have to remember that Beauvais Island is owned by Norway. Norway is one of the 13 founding countries of Cern. I had noticed that this anomaly was very similar to a video game I played in the early 2000s. This video game was called Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey. This video game company always styled their video games in the exact same way, except this one game, it was rather different. The concept had to do with a giant black hole opening up in Antarctica. The anomaly in the game looked rather similar to the anomaly that was seen in Antarctica. Well, the anomaly in the game was called the Schwarzschild, which is a play on Schwarzschild, a giant wormhole. And this wormhole led to multiple different dimensions, which led to encounters with demons and gods. So it's rather interesting they are showing us in media what they are doing, even if that media happens to be video games. They had also had a Nike commercial that had to do with Geneva, Switzerland, and Cern, scientists working in a lab, opening up portals, summoning over better athletes. This is a concept we have seen many times in different forms of media. Wormholes, portals, summoning over demons and gods and so forth. And we have always been told it's only fiction. It's just a movie. It's just a game. Well, look, they are working on the concept of opening up different dimensions with these blueprints of wormholes. And again, do you believe they are spending billions and billions of dollars just to smash particles together? Like I said, they already told us they had a fourth dimensional ghost, which they dub a particle, again to make it sound like science. But they had a fourth dimensional ghost already cross over. Well, 1 week ago, they had an article where they said Cern breakthrough detector captures high energy neutrinos for the first time. Another word for neutrinos happens to be ghost particles. So the weeks that the Large Hadron Collider was very active, they were crossing over ghost particles and they were studying them. The same that they did months ago where they said this fourth dimensional ghost particle crossed over. So they have other ghost particles that are crossing over, and well, they are saying they are studying them during their most active summer. Now, what I also find interesting is that supposedly neutrinos or ghost particles happen to be in everything, from humans to bananas. Why I happen to mention bananas happens to be because they actually study neutrinos in bananas. So it begs the question, why do they need this machine that cost billions and billions of dollars to study a particle that's in everything and that they have also studied in bananas? Perhaps it's a couple of reasons. One, the whole neutrino aspect could just be a facade and they are actually studying something else that's crossing over here. Or two, these neutrinos are in everything, including things that are in other dimensions. And that's how they know they successfully brought something over here from a higher dimension, because they can see it in neutrinos. These specters or these neutrinos are so important to Cern that the United States version of Cern, Fermilab, is opening up a $3 billion underground experiment, a neutrino experiment, to study neutrinos. Estimated to cost at least $3 billion, the Project Dune Deep Underground Neutrino Experiment is led by scientists at the United States Department of Energy's Fermilab. This is basically a massive Large Hadron Collider, a particle smasher, which extends from South Dakota to Illinois. The article also says eventually, each cavern will hold 17,500 tons of liquid argon to help Fermilab's physicists detect elusive particles known as neutrinos, aka ghost particles. Think about all they can do with $3 billion, but no, they needed to study a particle that is basically found in everything, which they said they studied in bananas, but they needed to study this particle. When CERN says they had a very productive summer, they definitely had a productive summer in summoning these entities over. Now, if you go back to the Olympics closing ceremony, it looked like nothing but a big CERN play. We saw the portal, we saw the great entity surrounding this portal, we also saw the golden entity, which is basically their god. The Large Hadron Collider, CERN, happens to be a giant circle. Now, it is said that CERN actually sits on top of the Temple of Apollo. The Temple of Apollo technically is in Greece, but the thing is, CERN is a sprawling facility covering a lot of real estate. People don't realize CERN's circle is massive. It is huge. It borders 3 different countries, which includes France. There is a town in France near the facility called Saint Genus Poli, which is believed to have maybe once included a temple to Apollo somewhere in or nearby back in Roman times. So yes, it is very possible that CERN circle does indeed sit on a temple to Apollo. Going back to the closing ceremony, there was a singer inside the portal or the circle singing a hymn to Apollo. Is this just a coincidence? I don't believe so, because once again, what we are looking at here is just a giant CERN play. The occultic symbolism of the closing ceremony was so obvious that media happens to be talking about it. They can't hide it. Matter of fact, I am reading this article from the Medium, which is titled, "The Occult Symbolism Behind the Olympic Games, a Deep Dive into Hidden Rituals." We are actually going to go ahead and skip most of the article and go right to the part in bold that says, "Portals, Demons, and Modern Science." One of the most striking claims about the ceremony is its alleged depiction of portals and the summoning of demons. In various occult traditions, portals are seen as gateways between worlds, allowing entities from other dimensions to enter our reality. What were we talking about earlier? Wormholes, dimensions, portals, these higher dimensional entities under the guise of neutrinos, ghost particles. Continuing to read from the article, it says, "The portrayal of a portal during the ceremony through which demonic figures emerge is interpreted as a visual representation of these beliefs. This theme of portals and interdimensional travel is not limited to ancient myths. In recent years, there has been a growing interest in the concept of portals within the scientific community, particularly in relation to projects like CERN and its Large Hadron Collider." So I'm not crazy when I say the Olympic closing ceremony was a giant CERN play. Others have seen this as well. Reading from the article, it says, "Some believe that these scientific endeavors are not merely about exploring the fundamental nature of the universe, but are also attempts to open gateways to other dimensions, potentially allowing entities from these realms to enter our world." Everything that I have been saying, and people are catching on. Where now even the media are talking about this because it was so blatant, it was so in our face what they were showing us during the closing ceremony. How can anybody not see this? They are singing the hymn to Apollo inside a circle, which is a portal, which is basically CERN's portal, that these great entities are coming out of. The Temple of Apollo is nothing more than Abaddon, the abyss. While they have this big giant ceremony that reminds many people of CERN, in the background, CERN is having their most productive summer ever, where they are running the Large Hadron Collider nonstop, where they now have many of these ghost particles now coming over.
Okay. He made the statement, I'll paraphrase, but he said, we're addressing the agenda, the purpose of CERN. He said, you do not want to open this interdimensional gateway because you don't know what's going to come through.
So would he have been? Would you call him a critic of the program?
I would, in the sense of their goal of disturbing the fabric of space.
Right.
Because he said that if we are able to tear the veil, to go to the Hadron, the God particle, I'm sorry, I'm losing the track. The God particle being a hadron, being a particle that they were trying to achieve the discovery of through the collision of particles. He said that,
Is that particle called the Hadron?
well, that it is a particle, the God particle. I'm losing my train of thought there for a moment.
Let's just suspend that for a moment.
Yeah, Higgs boson. Sorry, got a lot swirling in the head.
So
the
back,
Higgs boson.
Oh, yes, right.
They allegedly discovered this in the latter part of 2012 and into 2013. He said that if you disturb the Higgs field, which is part of this Higgs boson scenario, you could disturb that enough that you would create vacuums, a vacuum bubble that would envelop at the speed of light, not only this planet, but in the entire universe. Now, this is coming from an eminent scientist, mainstream scientist who's saying this.
Who's an atheist.
He's an atheist.
Right.
Now, that hasn't happened and hasn't played out yet since the discovery of the Higgs boson, and I apologize for the lapse, but what he is addressing is this rift, this opening of this portal, this interdimensional gateway, because he recognizes that there are entities on the other side that should not be in our realm, that barrier needs to be maintained.
Wait. Stephen Hawking recognizes that there are entities?
Yes.
And did he use the word entities or a similar word?
He uses unknown energies.
Unknown energies.
Right.
But he's referring to entities.
In our parlance.
Okay, in our parlance. So he's concerned about unwanted visitors.
Yep.
A home invasion, if you will.
Sure.
From another dimension.
Yep.
By entities.
That's correct. He's not the only one that's raised that issue.
Okay.
Not necessarily vacuum bubbles, but this communication and this opening. So there are enough atheist-oriented scientists out there who've been suppressed, but you can find their statements on the internet. This isn't conspiracy theorist origin. These are mainstream people who are saying, we really shouldn't do this. In fact, the director said,
the director of the Hadron Collider program.
Of the Large Hadron Collider, as I said earlier, said, we don't really know what's going to happen when we open this portal, but we're going to try anyway. We're going to do it anyway.
In any case, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.